Hello, good morning, viewers, and welcome to Today on ACNN. Truly, we would say, thank God it's Friday. It is your trusted window again on trending updates, Anglicanism, sports, and stories that are shaping our worlds. We are going to be challenging perspective as usual and also breaking stereotype just to bring you stories that are anchored on integrity, guided by truth, and viewed through the lens of faith. We sincerely want to apologize for starting a little bit behind schedule. These are due to some technical glitches. And now we launch into the business of today. Nigeria's long-standing debate on state policing, I tell you, have reached a significant milestone following the passage of the State Police Bill by the National Assembly. This proposal seeks to establish a dual policing system which allows states to create their own police service alongside the Federal Police Service. That is to say, it is not an abolishment of the Nigerian police force, but the state is creating its own. However, the constitutional amendment still requires approval by at least two-thirds of the State House of Assembly before it can fully take effect. Supporters believe the state police is long overdue. And what is their argument? Some of them argue that security challenges differ from one state to another and that our local police officers are more familiar with their language, their terrain, their culture, and the intelligence that would be needed to combat crimes such as kidnapping, banditry, communal violence. But critics, however, fear that this proposal could lead to abuse. And what are they afraid of? The one that some governors may use the state police to intimidate political opponents and also suppress the voice of dissent or influence elections. And then others who are sitting on the fence would argue also that, and it's raising questions such as whether financially weaker states can adequately recruit, to train, to equip, and also to pay police officers without compromising professionalism. I repeat that again, without compromising professionalism. Effective policing, as we know, is about institutions, professionalism, and accountability, and not just structure. All right, viewers, stay with us as we are in the business of informing you, inspiring you, and also engaging you right here on Today on ACNN. I am Godwin Ujiri, your anchor for the show, but I am not alone this morning in the studio to do justice with me with the issues on the front burner that we have to discuss is a most revered father in person of the Venerable Joseph Unoya JP, who is the Director of Civic and Political Affairs of the Church of Nigeria and also the Chaplain of the National Assembly. Good morning, Venerable.
Good morning.
It's nice having you again today on ACN.
You are looking good.
Thank you so much. You are not looking bad yourself today. All right, viewers. Joining us virtually later, all the way from Delta State, is Honorable Victor Okupa, who is a political analyst. I would want to say thank you again for being part. And viewers, remember you can be part of this show by calling in the number showing on your screen and also by sending in your comments via our various social media platforms. But first, we would be taking a look at some select newspapers headlines that came in this morning. And I would be starting the show this morning with the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. And the Vanguard is leading with these stories. It says um, on page 5, our worries on state police by parties and other stakeholders. And then we have some of the kickers there that says funding crunch, abuse by governance, thugs in uniform, top consigns. Wow. And also we have ex-commissioner of police warns many states can't pay salaries, exposes structure to raw corruption. And then we have from the Labour Party, Ubani demand ironclad legislative firewalls, especially as regards this State Police Act. And then we also have Sawunlu Hills El Puchal's shift as PRN, NNPP, CU people flare Tinubu's alleged hasty reform. And also we have political parties, legal heavyweights raise alarm over 2027 polls. Right there as a kicker also we have Senator Arise 6 tight legislative check. I believe this is also as regards to the state police. And then we have weak LGAs may sink entire projects. Weak local government areas may sink entire projects. How true is this? But this is an expert opinion. All of them are all kickers as regards the issue of state police there. Then just below, um, we have a picture story that shows another batch of 66 Nigerian evacuees from South Africa with immigration and NITCOM officials after arrival at Murtala Mohammed International Airport. That is the picture story you find on the front page of the Vanguard there. And then of interest to me right here in the studio also is a story we have on page 9 that says terror financing. Federal government moves to charge US sanctioned Bureau de Change operator. And the kicker there, as we have it, says, and CBN freezes accounts of Adamu Chiroma, 4 persons, and 1 Bureau de Change operator there. And this story can be found on page 9. For me, viewers, this morning, I'm happy because we are now seeing names coming out, the likes of Adamu Chiroma, 4 other persons who are still who still remains nameless for reasons best known to the authorities. And then just above the Vanguard masthead there, we have our federal government to review 70,000 minimum wage. This story can be seen on page 13, and this is coming from Bajabia Miller there. And lastly, on the Vanguard, we have marketers retain high petrol prices as crude oil crashes to pre-war level. Crude now $72. And then another kicker there says Dangote refinery reduces gantry price to 1,125 naira per liter. This story can be seen on page 9. For me here in the studio, I would take this story with a little bit of mixed reaction because we truly do not know when the reduction of petrol price at whatever level becomes a good news to us because it is not reflective of our daily commutes and also the purchase of premium motor spirits to most of the vehicles out there. We're just seeing it as catchy headlines on the newspaper. And then I will be moving very quickly to the Daily Global newspaper this morning. The Daily Global is leading with this story. It says, federal government to review 70,000 naira minimum wage. This is also coming from Bajabia Bila, just as I read earlier on the Vanguard newspaper. And then also we have Imperial Royal Eminence Archbishop Professor Benny Dancing calls for immediate resignation of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu there. And then we also have a touching one just above the global daily global masthead there. It says Mr. Ibu's widow children seek support over rent and school fees there. And then lastly, on the Daily Global, we have insurgency now fueling Nigeria's security crisis. And this is coming from no other but an NIIA professor who is raising concerns at that. And then let me just take this. It says police foil cattle rustling, recover 6 cow in Bakar. CP Omolori orders manhunts for suspects. All right, we will be moving on to the Guardian newspaper for you this morning. And the Guardian this morning is leading with some funny caption there if you look through. But let's start with I think the big story that is covered on pages 4 and 5. It says for service or sanctuary, posers over ex-governors push for legislative seats. Posers over ex-governors push for legislative seats. And then you have this cartoon image there that shows the Senate chamber and then some of our governors who are trying to move in. And then we have 8 years power, privilege, protocol, control. And then they are all moving from being ex-governors of their various states to becoming senators so they could also enjoy the next chapter of legislative comfort, such as security, allowance, influence, and relevance. It's actually a very funny and catchy headlines there. And then across the shores of Nigeria, we have Ramaphosa denounces xenophobia as more Nigerians, others leave South Africa. And then on page, this story can be seen on page 7. Do I need to reply to this? Not now. Okay, let's take on the story on page 29. It says, Army, police reject fresh moves to deploy repentant terrorists. Okay. Army police reject fresh move to deploy repentant terrorists. Okay. And then also on the issue of state police, we have Atiku, PRP, Falana raises concerns as Labour Party, Afenifere, Sanwo-Olu backs move. And then on page 18, on the business page there on The Guardian, we have CBN freezes accounts linked to terrorism, financiers, and seek enhanced monitoring. This can be seen on the business page 18 there. And then we have from the appeal court, from page 7, appeal court to hear ADC order suit against deregistration come on July. And then lastly on the newspaper this morning, we have power debt road deepens as Gencos challenge ministers 50 billion naira payment claim. And this story can be seen on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Right. I still have the punch to take here. All right. And now moving on very quickly to the Punch newspaper, we have 36 speakers back state police. Final test begins. And we have a kicker which is similar to those I have read earlier from other newspaper. But we have a picture story there that shows, 188 dies, 1,500 injured in Venezuela's earthquake disaster. Wow, this is indeed a sad one for the world and to everyone there. And we pray that God grant the departed a peaceful rest. And then just by the side, the Lagos building collapse. Wow, death toll hit 826 rescue. This can be seen on pages 4 and 5 there. And then Tinubu vows safe return of adopted Oyo teachers and pupils. Right. I think that is a much we would be taking from the front page of the national dailies that we have for you this morning. We would be moving on very quickly to our discussion segment, but then we will take a short breather there. When we return, we will dive into that segment of the show. So please stay tuned because we promise to engage you right here on today on ACNN. Right, welcome back, viewers. This is still your favorite morning show today on ACNN, and we are going to launch into the discussion segment, and then we're looking at some catchy headlines that we read from the front pages of the newspaper. But of utmost concern, I repeat it again, of utmost concern to me this morning is a very troubling development, a very troubling development. But before I go ahead, I just want to welcome Honorable Okupa all the way from Delta State. Thank you for joining us. Good morning and welcome to today on ACNN. Honorable, can you hear
Good
me?
morning.
All right. Good morning. It's nice having you. And also, we have an in-house analyst of ACNN in person of Somto Chuku Okizu, who is joining us all the way from Kaduna State. Somto, good morning and welcome to the show. Hello, Somto. Can you hear me? Good morning. Welcome.
I can hear you. Good
Uh,
morning, good. Thank you for having me.
All,
Thank you.
all right, thank you so much. Yeah, viewers, you have it. Our guests are complete. We have right here still sitting calmly with us in the studio, Venerable Joseph Unioya, JP, Director, Civic and Political Affairs of the Church of Nigeria, and also the Chaplain of the National Assembly. Venerable, thank you for your patience with us this morning. All right, viewers, like I said, a very troubling development we have to start or kickstart the conversation this morning. And one of which is as regards to the federal government review of the 70,000 naira minimum wage to a review to 120. Why is it is troubling? Because yesterday, and this particular one is coming from Bajabia Miller, who we know is a spokesperson to the chief of staff to the president. And yesterday on the show, a shocking concern was also raised when this other man from the spokesperson to the president, in person of Bayo Onanuga, came out to say that there is no hunger in the land. Nigeria is doing okay. You get. And just this morning, we're having Bajabia Miller coming out to say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in the verge of reviewing the 70,000 naira minimum wage. Now, the big question for us in the studio is who is saying the truth? Who is coming out with a clear perspective as regards to the reality on ground? Could it be the spokesperson or could it be the chief of staff of the president who is telling President Bola Ahmed Tinubu the reality on ground that most Nigerians are facing? Because we now have two, one an advisor, the other the chief of staff of the president coming out, bringing out, coming to give us different narrative on almost, if not same, similar issue. But I will not dwell much on that because I have my guests to bring to light all of this perspective. So, Venerable, I would be starting with you. Two spokesman, however we want to look at them, are reputable and could be said to have spoken on behalf of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the person of Bayo Onanuga and also Bajabia Mila. Bayo said that Nigerians are okay, there is no hunger in the land. And yet we are hearing Bajabia Mila coming also today to say that there would be a review of the 70,000 minimum wage to a 120,000 naira so as to meet up with the present reality of things. So with these two coming from almost the same place, that the seat of power, I think that should be the right word. Who should Nigeria, who is actually not telling the president how things are with Nigerians? I don't know if you get the point.
Well, let me say I'm very disappointed at what is credited to Mr. Bayo Onanuga. I'm so disappointed that somebody in such a high position and who is in Nigeria today can come out to say he cannot see the hunger in the land. I use the word, the statement is credited to him as it is flying about in the social media. If that is true, then it's a big disappointment that people like that who have direct access, direct contact, golden opportunity to admonish the president of this country can be speaking that way. Of course, he has always spoken harshly. He has always spoken in that manner, in a very antagonistic manner over the years. I don't know him as a person until he became a special advisor to the president. I never knew the man, I never heard about him. But I think he's not representing the president well. And for a person to even say that at a time like this, when we are just a few months to the 2027 general election, shows his sensitivity. There are better ways you can defend the president. There are better ways you can represent the president. There are better ways you can speak to the issue of a hardship and hunger in the land. The hardship and hunger in Nigeria today is not something you go and make research for. It's written everywhere. It's written everywhere. We who are pastors know what it was and what it is now. Even by it reflects in the offerings that comes to church, because it's the people that are blessed, that are making progress, that brings offerings to church on Sunday to thank God for the blessing. We know how everything has collapsed. We know very well that there's hunger in the land. In the area of welfare, welfare is a cardinal thing that the church is involved in. It's becoming overwhelming. There's hardly a day you will not find a request. You will not find people sending SOS to the priest asking for food, just food, asking for food. My children cannot eat. I have not been able to eat. We have nothing to eat this night. Just come to our aid in any form. And somebody comes out to say boldly that there's no hunger in the land, or he cannot see hunger in the land and all that. So it's a big shame. It's a big disappointment. It means actually there are wrong people around the president, because we expect people to be able to tell Mr. President the truth and nothing but the truth. And that is what we gingered Mr. President to want to adjust his policies or fine-tune his policies or take some other steps to ameliorate the suffering in the land. Who says there's no hunger in the land? What is the salary of workers? And what is the cost of transportation today? What is the inflation rate? Compare it. You don't need a prophet to tell you that the purchasing power of the masses have been eroded completely. And what people take home cannot even take them for 2-3 days. I can tell you, even my stipend as a priest, it cannot take my family for 3 to 4 days as a guest before. And somebody comes out to say, there's no hunger in the land. Is he sensitive? I must say. And let's hope he did not say so. Let's hope it's AI. As the AI generated something, as many people do say nowadays. So, for Gbajabiamila's statement, I wouldn't want to say, okay, before I go to Gbajabiamila, talking about conflicting representation and statement coming out of the presidency, you remember the fair guy that was, that they said resigned, Ngilale?
Yes.
The way himself and this Bayo Nanuga were talking out different kind of conflicting statement from the same presidency. So I choose to believe Gbajabiamila, Femi Gbajabiamila, because he's the chief of staff and he's an honorable person. He was speaker of the House of Representatives for years, and for me, he did his best as a person. And if he's coming out to say the presidency is thinking of looking at the minimum wage of 70,000 to raise it, I choose to believe him more because I know more about him, and I know his by virtue of his office, he knows what Mr. President is thinking.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much. We hear you loud and clear, but I still want to stay with you. And now it's in this form. Can we critique even the 120,000 naira that Gbajabiamila is coming out to say that the federal government is working to review? Now, given what you have explained as regards the current reality of things, do you even think 120 is enough or is sustainable enough given our present circumstance as a nation?
It's not. It's clear that 120 is far below the kind of wage that can take any person home now. How much is a bag of rice, even with the reduced price as Saturday? How much is it? How much is a basket of tomatoes in the market? My wife went to market yesterday, and she bought the smallest, that tiny small bucket of tomato at 15,000 naira yesterday in the evening. Just to a basket of tomatoes. I want you to use that to estimate what will 120,000 naira take care of when you remove transportation. What will remain? Then you remove money for feeding for the month. What will remain? We are not talking just about singles, young men and young women. We are talking about civil servants who have been there. They have wives, they have children. Some of them have up to 1, 2, 3, 4 children. They have rent to pay. At the end of the day, they have clothes to wear. So what is 120,000 currently in comparison with the state of things in Nigeria? But like what they say, hard bread is better than none. And steady hope and of a progress is better than complete stagnancy. That is it. If you have been on 70 and you are managing yourself, and now by stroke of chance, 50,000 is added, at least it's still a relief of some sort. But coming to the reality of things, is far, far from it. It's far, far from it.
All right. Thank you so much, Venerable. Honorable Cooper, I would now be coming to you. You have listened, I believe, to what the Venerable in the studio have said so far. And looking at the present review, which have actually not been passed, let's still assume we still have it at 70. But let's even assume that it has been reviewed to say 120. And this 120,000 will be reflective only to the civil servant. And then you and I will also agree that those within the civil service do not cover up to, say, 15% of the Nigerian average population size. And then when this review is done, on the streets, commuters, the drivers, and every other person would say the government have increased price, the government have increased minimum wage, and that will be reflective also in, say, their increment, both in foodstuff in the market, in transportational costs, and this does not cover, is not reflective to say 80% of the other percentage of Nigerians out there. And now we're only looking at the reduction of minimum wage. How about the inflationary cost? What is your take on this, given what we have been discussing thus far?
Thank you very much, Mr. Baldwin. I think our Venerable just the statement of Bayo and the rest of them. When I heard the statement by Chief of Staff, I was happy. Why was I happy? I was happy that the government has now realized that inflation have outpaced the current minimum wage.
Okay.
I was happy because they now know that the cost of living have surely outpaced what Nigerians, the salaries they pay, and the condition of living of Nigerians. However, the review, for me, I feel it's a statement yet. It's a political statement yet to appease the mind of the people, mostly the NSC, Nigeria Labour Congress, who have been agitating for some time that they will hit the street if minimum wage is not taken above 100,000 or 100,000. So I believe this is a political statement at a critical time, just to evaluate or to calm down the nerves of NSC. Now on the street, if this come to stay, to the public sector, it's assumed that once minimum wage is reviewed, every organization, every PEM will increase the basic salary of every of their staff to 120,000. It's assumed, or it should be. Then on the other hand, on the street, you see landlords, house rent, private business owners, small-scale business owners will try to meet up the demands of the increase of salary. I believe the government should now step up their economic reforms, because the only thing that can reduce inflation is economic reforms and to stabilize prices. This is very important because when you increase salary and the inflation is still high, you are still going to, like what our daddy have said from the studio, you are still, even though the minimum wage gets to 1 million, the common man selling Gary, selling the basic needs of Nigerians is going to increase what they sell to meet up the demands of the day. If they want to increase the minimum wage on a review, they should be able to bring out economic reforms that will better inflation and that will stabilize prices across board. If this is not done, we are going to still have this inflation eating up the increment in the minimum wage. If you eat it up, they increase it to 70,000. Rent that was at 500,000 went to 1 million, 1.5 million. Transportation that was maybe let me say 4,000 naira boat went to 7,000. You see, there's no correlation to inflation, to stability of price, to even what people earn. I think to bring stability to the society, to the common man, even in reviewing minimum wage, is to make sure that economic reforms are put in place that will bring about stability in price. Today, how much are we buying fuel? When minimum wage was 19,000, 20,000, fuel was how much? 85 naira. How many liters could you buy then? Can you buy then? But now the whole thing is on a different level. So I think if they must reduce the suffering on the street from the workers, that they have to bring reforms that will balance prices and help the common man to live better in this present day.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Cooper. I will still be staying with you because you've raised some pertinent issue that we'll still have to look at. One of them is that you said on account of the increments, organizations may end up taking in new staff. But now I just want to ask, how do these organizations strike a balance? Because the dragnet of taxation have increased tremendously that most organizations can hardly break even on profit maximization, because if they are not breaking in as regards to profit, so therefore there would be a significant reduction in the level of manpower they bring in that would also in turn would have led to increase in production. You get. Now, this is where we find ourselves, and we speak so much as regards to government policies without the government helping us to have an actual balance as regards to all of their policy documents. Because now we don't just have a conflict in the kind of policy document they bring, rather we find a policy conflicting the other, bringing or putting Nigerians in a state of confusion that they have never experienced in their lifetime. As Nigerians, how do we strike a balance? Because there is now dragnet as regards to taxation across board.
Godwin, the thing is, the major challenge we have in governance today is government not taking responsibility to subsidize the basic things that small scale businesses, industries, and production companies need in Nigeria, which is the major of it is energy. For example, let us, before we talk about the tax, let's go to energy. The cost of energy, the cost of running a factory, the cost of owning, the cost of day-to-day running of a business in Nigeria, electricity, fuel. So for me, one of the things that government will do, one of the policies of government will do to aid businesses, companies, industries, is to subsidize energy for these businesses, for this industry. Not taxing them more, not going to increase. Okay, you are in band A, you are in the production area, you are paying band A in electricity. It's too much. So we are going to see more of layoffs, not even employment, layoffs. You are coming to increase tax on almost virtually everything. Companies that are employing your citizens are buying. That is why the cost of importing goods to Nigeria is cheaper than producing in Nigeria. That's why everybody is going to China. That is why one of those things, I love Donald Trump because he said, let us bring this company back to America. If you are producing in America, it's cheaper. If you go to China to produce and bring to America, you are going to pay higher tax. So for government to help the industries in Nigeria is to cut down taxes on them, so that if we can even attract more companies to come and produce here instead of bringing down from China. Even Nigerian youth want to go to China to produce there, maybe rebrand and bring down, because if you want to produce here, it's going to cost too much. And when you are producing outside, you are going to have more layoffs. So most of the companies we have in Nigeria here are just offices, extension offices. The production is happening in China. While here is just, let me say here is just storehouses. How many people are you going to employ? So the thing boils down to government has to step up to take off these taxes on these industries. Government has to come to subsidize energy for them to aid production and to aid employment, more employment for Nigerians.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Cooper there. And now we would be coming to our in-house analyst in person of Somto Chukwukizu. Somto, I want to ask, because I believe you have listened to both the comments of the Venerable and also Honorable Cooper right there from Delta State. But now, 2027 election is on its way. Just in a few months' time, we will launch into that election, and so much is on the brink. And now Baja Biabila is coming to say the government is considering a review. Can you help us make sense of this across what both the Venerable have said and what Okupa have said and what I just asked?
All right, thank you so much, Gordon, for that. The Venerable has spoken right, and also the Honorable. They have all spoken my mind, but just to add a to words they have said, the 2024 law requires a review for the minimum wage every 3 months. And remember, this was done in 2024. So if at all there's supposed to be a review, it's supposed to be next year, which is 2027. But we can see here that the inflation has eroded the value of the current minimum wage that we have as a nation. And if we want to look at it critically, let's look at it on both sides. I would say, first of all, is it going to help? Is it going to solve the problem? No, it's not going to solve the problem, but it will help. It's going to give more purchasing power. You understand? People will most likely increase their purchasing strength when they go to the market. But one of the things you like, and the Honorable has rightly mentioned, is the fact that it could also lead to inflation. And mind you that the issue of this 70,000 naira, it's a problem that not all states are conveniently paying. Some people are still struggling to meet up with the 70,000. I remember sometime in the studio, I think earlier this year, where we talked about the salary of the primary school teacher in one of the northern states, and I think it was somewhat around 15,000 or 35,000. I can't remember the exact figure. Just to show you that a lot of states are still struggling with the 70,000 naira, that is the minimum wage. So if we are now advocating for it to be pushed to 120, what is the guarantee that a lot of states would be able to pay? This is where you begin to get things like government are owing, salaries are being owed to people, and the likes of it. And also, when we talk about this, when I mentioned inflation, this is actually going to lead to inflation because when the production is actually not being helped, you're going to see that people will end up just increasing the prices. If at 70,000 you can buy a loaf of bread for 2,000 naira, if the salary, if the minimum wage is now being increased to 120,000, one of the things that it can lead to, if there is no aid in production, you will discover that there will just be an inflation on the price of that bread. Rather than it being 2,000, it's going to come on the rise to become a 4,000 naira. So just as the Honorable said, one of the things to help at this particular time is the involvement of the government in policies. You also mentioned the likes of transportation. You also mentioned the likes of a lot of things. A lot of things are going on wrong. It's not just all about increasing the minimum wage, because you increase the minimum wage, inflation is actually going to define that minimum wage and keep increasing and keep increasing. So how about we just face it from the root cause? How about we just we review some of our reforms? The Honorable mentioned subsidies. You understand that this fuel, actually, if the price of petrol in Nigeria can come down, trust me, it is going to solve at least 60% of the inflation we're having in this country, because everyone needs it. The transportation, people transport goods, you understand? So some of these things are actually the main issue. It is not about the minimum wage. What can someone living in an urban city like Lagos State do with 120,000? Tell me. Or you living in Abuja? how much can 120 get you as an very conducive accommodation? You will realize that it's not just all about increasing the minimum wage. The people in the urban cities will not even be able to survive. So how about we tackle the problem from the grassroots? How about we bring back security so farmers can go back to their farmlands and farm? And if this is being done, you will discover that the price of goods will drop. There will be competition in the market. Rather than one person trying to monopolize the market, rather than farmers running away from the farmlands due to insecurity, you will discover that agriculture will keep boosting. How about we start safeguarding our farms? How about we start working on security? When we work on security, it gives people the opportunity to return back and farm, and you discover that this is actually going to help the cost of food production. This is going to help agriculture. So it's not just all about increasing the minimum wage. A whole lot underground work should be done. And when we want to look at it in the sense of an election is forthcoming, well, do we now say, okay, probably this is a means of trying to buy the people that the government is still interested in doing? Or to be honest, as Nigerians, there is nothing that is impossible for us to think about the government of today. They can really do and undo. But I would still say that the minimum wage is not a problem. The minimum, yes, it should be increased, but when we can fix our economy, when we can fix our reform, then we can now go ahead from there and now talk about, okay, increasing the minimum wage, because then it will be a balanced ground for everybody to trade on.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Som today and Honorable Cooper, and also our venerable right here in the studio. For me, I am concerned a bit because it seems as though analysts, even right here on today on ACNN, have a solution to Nigerians' problem than the think tank that seems to have been hired by the government to do this job. And then we begin to ask ourselves, how did we get to this point where people who are occupying so much uh, portfolio, carrying so many titles, are still so unable to solve the Nigerian problem? All right, we will be moving away from that a bit while we look at another pressing issue, this time one that affects us as a nation, an issue that has to do with the security of lives and property there. Yesterday, and I believe today, we have a trending video. We took it yesterday, though, and this is a viral video that have gone around. Wherever I believe you may have seen it. The video of some men, allegedly bandits, coming back from wherever they went to and are being hailed or waved by the Nigerian police force on their way back. I don't know if you saw that video.
I saw it.
Online, and then the police have come out to debunk it, that these are actually not bandits, that these are uh, persons or vigilante men who are maybe coming back from a successful mission thereabout, and they said Nigerians should disregard any of such information that would want to allude that these persons are bandits. But only today we are seeing a northern cleric, venerable, a northern cleric, coming out to say that the police didn't tell Nigerians the truth. He says they were bandits returning from a peace meeting. This is how sad the reality is with us in Nigeria, where in fact I wish my director can bring up that same clip of yesterday. It seems as though I think the video is right there on the screen. It seems as though even the spokesperson to the police came out to even threaten Nigeria that if we keep up saying that these are bandits, we are liable to be sued and the rest of it, because it seems as though we are being passing the wrong information to the public. But now this is a northern cleric. I don't know how certified this information he has is, But let me take it from the fact that it's coming from a cleric, and there is this sense of truthfulness that should be regarded to this person. And it's coming here to say that these are bandits actually coming from a peacekeeping mission, from a peace meeting. Venerable, your take on this?
As an analyst or a journalist, you have watched that video. I believe you have watched that video.
Yes, I have.
And you have heard the police speak. And you have heard the clerics
Come out
to say
the
something.
claim of the police.
Which one seems to be more factual? You see, the truth is that Nigeria officials, government officials, I'm not just talking about police alone now. I've discovered that one of the bane of governance in Nigeria is officials trying to speak to cover up in one way or the other on issues and trying to do damage control in a way and manner that does not make sense. It's better you speak to the issue as it is and make sense out of it. And I will help the police to do that from what I saw in the video clip. Now, if you look at that very video and analyze it very well, there are so many things in that video that shows that those people are more likely to be bandit than what they call them vigilante. The kind of gun they carried that everyone can see in that video. Do the vigilante have those kind of gun? That is number one. Among them, zoom it and see the number of those people that were fully on military uniform. Are vigilante now allowed, or are vigilante wearing military uniforms? Certainly no. So how do you explain that away if you say they are vigilante? Have they allowed vigilante now to be wearing military uniform? Are vigilante now, how many vigilante in the north are carrying AK-47? We see the other vigilante and the kind of gun, the whole, some day gun, some pump action, and sometimes even stick. So, if you analyze that video, it is clear that these people are not vigilante. That is number one. Then talking about doing damage control. Do you know, I analyzed that thing yesterday and I discussed it also with my son, who is a security personnel, and he opened my eyes to operational rules in the security cycle. Now, one of the point he brought out was that if in reality those people were bandits, there's nothing those two policemen could have done other than to wave and let them pass. The reason is that they have outnumbered them. They have already outnumbered them. How can two policemen or three policemen confront those number of bandits with those number of guns? He said the operational rule in the military is that three personnel should attack one enemy or confront one enemy. In that scenario, if you as a commander sees that the number of Boko Haram or bandit outnumber your personnel, wisdom, exercise of discretion should prevail in that matter. Because if you strike at that point, they will overwhelm you, they will wipe away your men, they will cut away with your equipment, and you will be court-martialed. So, it's a question of the officers exercising discretion to know what to do at that point. So, if you follow that operational rule, it means the number of the bandit, if they were bandit, have overwhelmingly outnumbered the number of the policemen at that checkpoint, and no one can really blame the policemen for exercising discretion to let them go. So as to go back, the right thing to do is for the policemen to let them pass, then radio the office to say, this is what we just experienced. There are bandits in so large number with weapons. They have just passed us. There was no way we could have challenged them with the kind of weapon we're holding and with the kind of number. So let there be reinforcement, or let there be an ambush laid for them. That is the best to do when it comes to operational rules. So this is the kind of thing we will want the police to tell the world. You see, you don't try to cover up what is more or less very clear and obvious before the world. I want yes, the policeman knows better. The spokesperson, I assume, I have not listened to the spokesman for the policeman. I have not been privileged to listen his address. Honestly, if he said what you were just saying just now, I think I will want him to address the issue of the kind of uniform that those people were wearing. Are vigilante now exactly wearing military uniform, as we can see? Are vigilante now having on those type of gun that we saw in that? Then can they counter what the cleric has come out to say? Is the cleric lying? It is already clear, it's not a hidden fact, that some state governors, some local government chairmen have been trying to broker peace with some of these bandits. Every Nigerian know that. We have seen them taking photographs with governors, with security men, both police and military personnel in the past. So it's no longer news. So I think the truth is what will set this country free. It's like we are not, speaking the truth. We are not telling the world the truth. We are not speaking to reality when it comes. I will expect the police to further verify and what really transpired. And thank God, their personnel were the people that were seen in the video waving these men. For me, as an individual, as an educated person, I will not blame those police officers. It's sad that we have gotten to that point, but it is very glaring that there was nothing those policemen could have done in that second. Should they run? If they run and they decide to open gun on them, what would have happened? They will kill them. So I think the safe thing to do at that point was what the policemen did, even though it is sad. It sends a terrible signal that the enemy is winning, and that the bandits and the kidnappers are almost actually taking over a space in Nigeria. So, but no one should come to further confuse people.
Okay. All right. Very well.
And let me say,
all right,
I've just spoken based on your question.
yes,
I've not had the speech privilege to listen by myself to the speech of the police officer. I've not been privileged to listen to the speech of the cleric that is being referenced, but I've seen the video of what happened, and there are elements in that video that you can analyze and come up with the correct information.
all right. Thank you so much, Variable, for that. Very interesting, I must say, analysis. It is apt as regards to the issue that we are discussing this morning. All right, viewers, still on the same issue, one that has to do with the Nigerian policing system. We'll take a breather, and thereafter we'll launch to watch two videos, I must say. One of them is as regards to the comments that would be accredited to two serving senators as regards to the formation of state police. One have alleged that governors will destroy state police as they did to local governments. This is coming from no other than Senator Barry Bede. And then also we have federal police will handle federal crime, while state police will tackle local crime. This is coming from the Senate Deputy Chief Whip, the Unwe Boyin. We take a breather and then take a watch on those two video clips.
The Federal Police Service, of course, is no more Nigerian Police Force. It's now to be called Federal Police Service, will face federal offenses, being offenses created under the laws made by the National Assembly. Then the state police will focus on local crimes, laws made by the state assembly. So it goes without saying that when it comes to election, of course, it's a federal exercise. The federal police should man that, whereas the state police is to take care of other crimes like kidnapping, banditry, and other forms of crime which have been domesticated by our state laws. There is no this law burden on terrorism today that have not been domesticated by every state in Nigeria. So the state police is going to tackle those crimes headlong, whereas the Federal Police Service will, of course, do the border patrol, do the interstate security, and focus on federal crimes, being crime created by the law, the National Assembly. So it is very clear, and it's go without saying. So the act that will spell out the modus operandi will come out in details as how these things is going to work. But I want to assure you that we're not making this law for a particular individual or to favor the government of the day. Because we know very well that in politics, nothing is permanent. Today we are in power, tomorrow we may lose power. So it's like that. We're making law for Nigerians. We're not making law for the government of the day. That is the point.
Funds that will go to the state police commission must be guaranteed by the constitution and go directly to the commission, so that what we are seeing today with regard to local government funds, we don't have to see it with the police, because if we do that, then for people like us who come from the southeast, where in 2 or 3 kilometers you see 10 checkpoints, you will now have 100 checkpoints by state people who will have to fend for themselves if they don't have the requisite funding. In those aspects of the constitution, because I've seen 2 or 3 where it says that the president will merely write a letter and take over, or merely write a letter to, no. We think that not just the president, but that power must also be shared with the National Assembly and the Senate in particular, just like we have done in state of emergency. Because we cannot have a situation where the president just looks at a state, maybe he's not in good terms with the governor, and decides that he will take it over. How would you go against that? So I think that we should look very much into that. The second and the last part of what I will look into is the question of funding. Today, we are aware that states have far more funding than before. But we also had a time in which states didn't have as much money, which means that he who pays the piper will also dictate the tune. So what we will have to ensure that we go into the act is that
Welcome back, viewers. If you are just joining us, this is today on ACNN, and we have been talking on various issues right here on the show this morning. And I believe you have been following through with us as regards this pertinent issue. We have been looking at issues that surrounds creation of state police. We have also looked at the issue as regards the review of the minimum wage amidst so many other things that will still be bringing to you, especially as regards to insecurity in Nigeria. So you just took a watch of a video that came in from two renowned, I use the word renowned now, two senators there as regards to the issue of state police. Somto, I would be coming to you now as regards to this issue. You listened very well, I believe, to what Variable said as regards to the earlier viral video we play. You get, and it also has to do with policing structure and system. And Variable just gave us an in-depth analysis as regards to some of the operational deficiency that most of the men will find in the course of carrying out their duties as state actors. Now, this is where we are as regards to the issue of state police, having us still going back and forth as regards to abuse and the rest. Now, given what these two senators have said, what would now be your take if you would take that vis-a-vis the video that we played earlier and that have been making rants across all social media platforms?
All right, thank you for him. If I am to begin with the viral video of alleged bandits on motorbikes, I would say the Venerable has actually given a very detailed analysis on that. But just to further add to the little I have, I would say it's evident even to the blind that these are not hunters. And
Or
if you look
vigilante?
very well on that video, you would see that some of them were holding very sophisticated guns. You will see one actually holding a machine gun. You could evidently see the legs of that machine, of the machine gun being pointed out in that video. And you could see the number of guns they were holding. And we have seen videos of hunters, we have seen videos of vigilantes. We know the kind of weapons they use. I haven't seen any vigilante using an AK-47. They are mostly using pump actions. And when you see a vigilante, it's evident. You know what a vigilante looks like. And for a few occasions where we have seen where bandits raid a community or attacks a village, we have seen videos that this is how they move. They move on bikes. You could even get live testimonies from the people saying that they were coming in their numbers on bikes. Even when they attack military camps, you will still get the same evidence. You still get the same stories correlating with each other. They all come in numbers with bikes, which is very clear what we just saw in this video. And just as the Venerable said, you really would not, you can't blame them for doing what they did because for goodness sake, they are outnumbered. They can't do anything. And if you watch that video carefully, you will see that it wasn't just the policemen that were standing. What marvels me is the fact that I believe everybody that was on the road at that particular time had to be on a standstill for these ones to pass. In that video, you will see like a pickup truck that was just directly in front of the president, and you could see the civilians, the citizens on the truck also raising their hands, waving at them. I think they did that with the mindset of I beg, don't we will hate you, don't adopt us. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
It's not because they wanted to, but it's the fear of what will happen next. And they did not even have the courage to share the road with them. They had to make sure they had gone far, and that's to show you that this is the level we have gotten to. And the police coming to debunk this story. Is it the first time? It is not the first time that our security institutions have come to say it is not true. The military do it a lot. Even while there's news that the general has been adopted, they will say it's a lie, and then the bandits goes for that to prove it that we have them. just like the last one that just happened now, they deny. The military always deny, and you end up seeing that it's the truth. So that is one of the things we know how to do very well. We deny everything, we deny it, and so the police coming to say it is not true. And why? How can I be surprised when the military also deny stories like this? What do you expect from the police? And now moving on to the state of the issue of state policing, we have to look at it on two critical bases. And advocacy for state policing, yes, is a good option, but I think we should tend to look at the disadvantage of something in our country more than the advantages. Because when a disadvantage comes, you will discover that it's going to outnumber. It is going to look as though we should not have even started this thing in the first place. We as Nigerians and our politicians know how well to abuse power. There are a lot of powers that have been given to the presidency that today we feel like it's an abuse of power. We don't want to just look at it, but the constitution already empowers him, even when we know that some of the things he does are an abuse of power. So now, when we talk about this state policing, yes, it is good. We get to hold someone responsible. You saw the video of the Oyo State governor saying that he could not do anything, that even when he gives an order to the commissioner, you still have to go back to get directive from Abuja. So now me, I'm of the opinion that if a state policing should be done, then we should make the institution that governs it stronger than the politicians. Let the institution that governs state policing be a very strong institution. And then on a second point, how about we just make the commissioners of police for a particular state answerable to the governors? Do we not think it's going to solve the issue? Rather than having a commissioner in a state who cannot receive direct order from the governor, rather from Abuja. But why don't we now do it in a way that, okay, the commissioner of the state becomes answerable to the governor? We still have the same central policing, we still have the same Nigerian police force. But now commissioners that have been stationed to states now become directly answerable to the governors. In this way, we still tend to strike a balance for abuse of power and then still get to hold our governors responsible, because at this point you cannot say it is Abuja. The commissioner is answerable to you. So I think in this way we tend to because when the essence of the thing is not known, abuse actually becomes inevitable. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Som, today. In fact, you have brought in a new perspective to this argument. To a layman, I would say it seems as the easier solution rather than spending so much in the creation of state police. We're trying to see how we can checkmate the issue of abuse, and you just suggested, rather than having state police, why not make the state commissioners at the federal level answerable to the governor? But I think we've gone past that because they have presently passed the bill. We're still looking at it to be assented at the State Assembly. Honorable Victor, thank you for still staying tuned with us. You just heard what you just heard what Somto said, and you also heard what the venerable in the studio said as regards the issue with the allegedly uh, bike men who were once said to be how do I call it now, to be bandits, but the police came out to debunk that report to say that they are not bandit but vigilante. Now, vis-a-vis what Somto said and what we are discussing, let me get your take first.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Godwin and Mr. Sonto. Thank you very much, and Venerable. I want to start from the last part of Mr. Sonto when he said the commissioner should be answerable to the governors. That would be the point of abuse first, you know. So for me, that is going to be the point of abuse. Well, currently they take order from governors and they take order from Abuja, and we are still having the present abuse we're having. So when you make it solely the governor for them to answer to, it becomes more abuse. You know, I think for the state policing, I love it. You know, there is no better time to have it than now. And I think what we should do to the system we should put in place is to bring an independent institutions independent institution to act as oversight over the systems in every state. That will include the IG, the federal body, the governors, the judiciary, and other key persons, other key personnel in the state, so that directives will not only be taken by a person, in quote, the governor or any politician, but then to have a an independent governing sector that will oversight their operations in every state. I think that will help to bring balance.
All right.
Strong institution also clear that. See, for me, the problem we are having in Nigeria is not governance. It's not government. Sorry, it's not government. It's not government officials. It's not politicians. The problem we are having is that the citizens of this country have failed to harness the power they have as citizens. The constitution, the policies of the police, of any institution in Nigeria empowers the citizens, not the other way around. The governors are to safeguard the citizens. But we, the citizens, we have let down our powers and think that it's the governor that can say or speak, then it will affect the masses. If the masses are united, there is no level of abuse that any governor want to use any system to operate anybody. But we, the citizens, we have failed to harness our power, our collective power as a people. Now, that is why you see that the police spokesperson can wake up one morning and decide to say that the people on the road were vigilantes. In a country of 230 million people, the most populous black nation in the world, they have one of among the best brains in the world. Nigerians were not dumb people. It is so pathetic to see the release of the police on this matter, and they even have the audacity to threaten citizens that share the video. They have the opinion on the matter. That tells you how that this system have reduced, or thereabout, we the citizens have reduced our power to nothing. To nothing. That a setup that was what is there for now? The primary duty of police. Why was it created? It's for the citizens, not for the politicians, not for the governors, for crying out loud. And a police PRO or whoever will put an official statement threatening the citizens he ought to be protecting. And like the honorable, our venerable have said, God bless these policemen for standing on the side and wave these people. For any act of challenge, these guys will have been gone. And the state, Nigeria as a state, will not bother about this family of these persons. So they were wise. They were outnumbered. So they did the right thing to stand aside and let these people go through. The vehicle you are showing on this screen now, this is not I'm not sure this is an healers. Or perhaps this might be a government official. These people might be escorting one of the politicians. If you look, the car in front of them is an healers. Escorting one of them to wherever that he was going to, or they are going to, or maybe taking something to go and deliver for them. These police people. So God bless them for doing what they did. But I will still speak that the police, the Nigerian police, have failed to realize that their first core duty is to protect the citizens of this country. And until we, the citizens, are tired of this, sorry to say, I'm not supposed to say this on it, are tired of this madness called governance, called policing in this country, will not go forward. And for state policing, if there is state policing today and any governor wants, we should just know that it can work, it's achievable. Right. But the people must stand, must be able to defend.
Thank you so much, Honorable Cooper, there for that very apt analysis on the issue. Venerable sir, I would be coming to you now, right here on the studio. If you listen very apt to what the two virtual analysts have said, they have looked at this issue of state police from two different perspectives. Somto is of the opinion that if this present structure is to be maintained, not that he's completely against state police, but say the state commissioners just being answerable to the governors will solve a whole lot. And Honorable Cooper is saying that if there was one thing he have seen as a current failure in the system, it's not even those in government, that it is the citizens themselves who have failed to recognize what they have as rights in the first place. Now, all of these things are what seems to be so gloomy as regards to state police. And now we have the likes of Baribe coming to warn that governors will destroy state police as they did to local governments. Do you see this happening?
What I will say generally is that let's give state police a trial.
Okay.
There's always room for amendment. Let's give state police a trial. The federal police's structure have not helped us, and it has not guaranteed anything.
Okay.
At the moment, the federal, the people at the federal are not abusing the structure. They are abusing it also. So let's not just begin to exercise fear. In a matter like this, you look at the merit and the demerit.
Okay.
And as far as I'm concerned, the merit of having the state police system is far, far, far outweighs that of this one bogus system that is not working, where people can easily hide under order from above or no order from above. It's two ways. It's either they tell you an order from above came, that is why we refuse to do this, or because there was no clear order from above, we could not do otherwise. So, and by the way, have we not already even almost having the state police in every state? What is something like Amatekun? What is it about? Agunecheba in Anambra, what is it all about? In my area in Edo State, they call Atanakpa,
And
security service.
The
Hisba. That what are all these things? What they call it in Borno, civilian JTF. Who are they? These are bodies that are set up by government, by local government, council, by cities and towns, by regions, to help protect their own region. So, for me, let's make it official.
Okay.
Let's make it official. Yes, there's no way, whether you like it or not, it's the same human beings that are joining the federal police that will join the state police. So, wherever human beings are, there will be abuses. There will be some measure of confusion. It all now depends on who is in charge. At that time, we have 36 states. That time, it's like you see different governors. You see some performing governors. You see non-performing governors. At that time, we have states that are state police that are models. It can be working in Lagos. It can be working in my state. It can be working in another state in the east. Then other people, it will be basis for comparison. Yes, if one governor is doing something positive in his own side and handling it well, another one will want to follow suit because it will be used against him because there is basis for comparison. So I think majority from assessment, from the debates that have been on for years, has subscribed to a state police, and let's give it a try.
All right. Thank you so much. Indeed, the variable have said it rightly. We give state police a trial. It is something that is worth it. So many angles to this, but the starting point of every of this thing is that when we'll start, we will begin to build from there. That is on the issue on state police. And I would be looking at another issue that is trending, not really an issue, but it is a trending matter there. And this is as regards to the convoy of no other person, but I am thinking the first son of the first son of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in person of Sheikh Tinubu there, and his convoy on Abuja Road. Let's just take a watch. When we come, we'll dive into that.
Shaitin, guys, leave that what's in there for there? Shaitin, once you don't Shaitin will come. I beat you. This Shaitin, bro. Whoa, this Shaitin. Look at the escort. Yo, I think he's inside here. Whoa, this Shaitin, bro. See escort, bro. Crazy, bro. Bro, see the car, see the jammer. Whoa, look at the G63. Whoa. Shay is coming. Shaitin, guys, leave that what's in there for there? Shaitin, once you don't Shaitin will come. I beat you. This Shaitin, bro. Whoa, this Shaitin. Look at the escort. Yo, I think he's inside here. Whoa, this Shaitin, bro. See escort, bro. Crazy, bro. Bro, see the car, see the jammer. Whoa, look at the G63. Whoa.
Welcome back, viewers. There you have it. A convoy of the first son of the land. Indeed, the prince of Nigeria. If I may use that word to quantify it. But on a serious note, is there an office of the first son of the president? Is there also an office of the wife of the president? Does the constitution have this provision? And then we see so much that is happening. And thus far, I think I wouldn't say for sure, but this is the first president that I know whose son is coming out to showcase, do I say, the wealth of the family, the wealth of the nation. These are persons that were elected to 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 lead, if I may use that word. Honorable Cooper, I am short of words as regards to the video I watched, but it is something that we are almost used to here in the federal capital. What is your take on this? In 1 minute, please.
My brother, my take that is a shame. That it's an abuse of privilege and abuse of power. I know that in 2023, even this Nigerians did not even vote for the current president. Not to talk about voting for him and his wife and his son and his daughter. These are not the things that we can. My brother, it's a shame that we are seeing waste of money, waste of resources. And the first lady of this country released a video yesterday or a few days ago saying that she empowered Nigerian women to go and fry akara and roast corn. And your son or your whatever is riding on this convoy. This is a total shame and a total mess. It's not something that we should be. It's as a Nigerian youth, as a youth, I am very disappointed seeing this kind of politics.
All right.
And the only thing I can say and encourage every youth out there is that we should do better to get involved in politics. We should do better not to sell out, to stand by the truth and do the right thing so that we can be able to redeem this country from the hands of these hoodlums that are now president of this country. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Day, for that comment. Somto, I just want to ask, because we have been looking for enough armed personnel to go into the Oyo forest to get the kidnapped school children and their teachers. This is roughly going to 2 months now, and they are nowhere to be found. But yet we'll find a whole lot of this personnel in the convoy of the son of the president. What is your take in 1 minute?
Thank you. Yeah, I remember his father earlier on, some months back, he drew security personnel from VIPs. But I actually think his son is exempted from that. And truth be told, the presidential family are entitled to some level of security and protection, because if at any point something goes wrong with any of the presidential and the president's family, it is assumed that it's going to probably put off the president mentally to be able to rule the nation. So there is a provision for for security for his immediate family. But it's an abuse of power, clearly, with what we are seeing right now. I do not think the constitution warrants this level of. What even shook me the most was the fact that he had a signal jammer. Like, for goodness sake, what are you using a signal jammer for? It's evident that he can't walk on the road just on his own, because a lot of people will probably want to make a mess of him. You understand?
All right.
I feel this is too much. This is too much. At least one or two. I'm not against the presidential family having a level of security protection or security detail, but at least one or two cars is enough for you. You don't need all of these things. It's clearly an abuse of power, and it is typical in an African setting, most especially in Nigeria. You don't find this in other developed Western nations like
All right.
US, the UK, China, Russia, and the likes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Venerable sir, is this a level of development we would say, or it is a cultural shift from what is obtainable outside?
Well, I wouldn't know what to say. I don't know how Sheyi was raised.
Mm.
So that is the difference. The truth is that the Tinubu's family has never been a poor family
Mm.
before he became president. That is the truth. That's why I say I don't know how he was raised and the kind of orientation he was given. But he's taking it out of proportion and giving room for what we call room for just scandal. A child of a president should not be moving in that kind of convoy when, with the level of hunger that is in the land today. And I can tell you, for me, it's giving a very, very wrong signal to the public that the family, the father who is our president, is not caring and does not care about what is going on in the country. What we should look at, whether it is his own convoy or the First Lady's convoy or even Mr. President convoy, there is none that does not beat one's imagination.
Mm.
The last I watched was the First Lady's convoy in Delta that was flying about in the internet. And everyone is dumbfounded, say, wow, 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 what is happening here? See the number of four-wheel, SUVs and all that. And with the level of money that goes into fueling and car maintenance in Nigeria as of today, what is going on? By the way, why that a large convoy, for Christ's sake? Is it to intimidate people? I don't know.
All right.
So for me, it's a very, it's uncalled for. That kind of convoy is uncalled for. Yes, we know there is insecurity. Insecurity is very high. And if you have to go by road and you're a sensitive figure like them, you need to get some policemen to escort you, but not in this manner. This, for me, this is display of affluence in the face of poverty that is everywhere in the land.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Venerable and Honorable Cooper, and also Comrades Somtochukwu Kizu there for all of your wonderful comments. For me, I would say, however we want to look at this matter, one thing remains primary. The taxpayers would ask questions as regards to the use of their taxes, because however you see the matter, however you see the case, the first assumption is that you are occupying a public office or your father is occupying a public office, and the assumption is that he is being taken care of with taxpayers' money. So the way and manner you show that affluence goes a long way to send the right and the wrong signal as regards the person of the president who happens to be your father. And on this note, we would take a short breather, and when we return, we will be looking at the message for the day titled Fathers Build Godly Children for a Better Tomorrow. And this, I tell you, is a special one because it is coming from no other but the primate himself, His Grace the Most Reverend Henry Chukwudum Ndukuba. So please,
brothers and sisters, Deuteronomy chapter 9 brings us to the point to make it clear to us that God is bringing his people into a land flowing with milk and honey. There is the possession of land. There is the possession of wealth. There is the possession of people. But God is saying for you to enjoy these blessings, you and your children teach your son and your grandson. So our aim will not be for our sons only. It will also extend to our grandsons and great-grandsons. He says, teach your sons and your grandsons to obey the commandment of the Lord, so that you will inherit, you will possess this which I have promised to give you. And when you do not do as God has commanded Israel, I am telling you that you are only preparing a battleground. When you gather wealth, houses, properties, money, and you have not passed on faith and laid spiritual foundation and moral foundation based on the word of God, brothers and sisters, we have laid foundation for the future generation to crumble. And here the Lord is saying the most enduring inheritance is the spiritual inheritance. It is faith. Teach your children to love me. And also teach them my word. Make them to walk with me. And when he made covenant with David, he said, as long as your children, your descendants, obey me and walk in my ways, they will always sit upon this throne. Brethren, a son or grandson that does not have the fear of God is a danger to the future of any family. So, the most enduring inheritance that we must leave is the spiritual foundation. Is faith built on the word of God and the fear of the Lord, fear of God. For the fear of God, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Father, what are you passing on? What are you leaving behind? Give that character. Give that hand that you are handing over. Before handing over wealth, give that character. Are you hearing me? So that whether there is weight or no weight, he will be able to create his own. He will build on where you have stopped. Brothers and sisters, The future of the church and our society depends greatly on how faithfully today's fathers hand over the baton of godly values. Don't pass on like debts. Some of us may have missed the opportunity, but today God is saying it is not yet lost. We can start all over. We can correct what we couldn't do in the past. But it will take us returning to the Lord with all our hearts and focusing on what God wants to do with us. Do not remember the mistakes of the past or failures of the past. Let us turn to the Lord with all our heart, and the God, our God, He is the God of second chance. He will help us. He will build us. He will secure our future. In the name of Jesus Christ.
All right, welcome back. There you have it, the message for the day given to us by our primates. A whole lot of lessons to be drawn from that message, especially as regards to the fear of God and handing over a baton from father to children, coming from the primate himself. That is a message to hold on to heart. And to our guests, I think I just need your comments as regards to this. So let me start from Sumto in 30 seconds each. So please just tell me what what you learned or the message you think you can pick from there.
One of the things that the primate spoke that got to me was the fact that parents should begin to look beyond living earthly possessions for their children. There should be something more you could give. There should be something more you can give. You understand? So that is one of the things that struck with me. I should be able to give more than earthly possessions to my children. I should be able to leave a mark. I should be able to leave a legacy of a life well lived and something that could live immemorable for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Venerable, His Grace have given us a message. What in 30 seconds? What is your take on that?
Well, I think is to re-echo what he has said. Uh, yes, parents have the duty to prepare their children for future. And for me, the best to do is to lead them to God. Give them two things, education and lead them to God. Give them Christ. These are the two things that will last, not necessarily building or business or cash.
All right.
No.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
They can squander all those things, but when you give them education, they are stable. Then when you give them God, they know what to do and God will guide them, even in your absence.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I thank the primate for that fatherly admonition to the congregation.
All right, our viewers, there you have it. There from our primates, from our guests, from our in-house analyst, Somto, and also from the venerable in the studio, pass over a baton that is sustainable. For me, that is key. And then it has been rightly said. And very quickly, before we take on the weather, I'll just give you a highlight of the World Cup matches that was played yesterday. I tell you, if you have been following through, though these matches are all coming late and not really friendly with the Nigerian time, but it has been, I tell you, electrifying moments in the world of sports there. And yesterday we have, oh wow, we have a very important match, and that is the match between Ecuador and Germany. Who would believe that Ecuador would win the German side there, and Ecuador won by 2-1, And then we have Morocco versus Ivory Coast, and Ivory Coast won by 2-0. And then we have Tunisia versus Netherlands, and Netherlands won by 3-1. And then we also have Japan, Sweden, which ends in a 1-1 draw. So also we have Turkey versus the United States, a big loss also for the host nation. Turkey winning the United Nations by 3-2. And also we have Paraguay versus Australia, and that match ended in a goalless draw there. So viewers, now you have it, the updates as regards the ongoing World Cup match. And now we would be going on to look at the weather. It has been a wet morning for us in Abuja. So let's take a look at the weather forecast across the globe, and especially in Nigeria.
Hello and welcome to the ACNN Global Weather Forecast for Friday, June 26, 2026. Across Africa, wet conditions continue across West and Central Africa, bringing widespread thunderstorms and rainfall. North Africa remains hot and dry under mostly sunny skies, while East Africa experiences scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. In Europe, southern regions continue to enjoy warm summer weather. Central Europe experiences occasional thunderstorms, while northern regions remain cooler with periods of rain. Across Asia, monsoon rains remain active over South and Southeast Asia, producing widespread showers and thunderstorms. East Asia experiences unsettled weather with periods of heavy rainfall, while the Middle East remains extremely hot and dry. North America will see warm temperatures with scattered thunderstorms across eastern and central regions. South America remains wet across tropical areas, while southern regions remain cooler and more stable. Australia enjoys generally settled weather, although southern coastal areas may experience occasional showers. In Nigeria, widespread rainfall and thunderstorms are expected across the southwest, southeast, south-south, and north-central regions. Northern areas remain warmer with partly cloudy skies and isolated showers. That is your forecast for today. Have a wonderful Friday.
That was the weather forecast for today, Friday, the 26th of June 2026. Do well to get yourself covered because it is cold. And wherever you are, just ensure you work with the weather situation and condition of that area. And now we would be moving on to take the Bible reading segment, which would be done in Pidgin English. So don't go away and just enjoy that.
For today na from Romans 5:12 to end. Dis na the letter when Apostle Paul write give the church for Rome, those wey believe in Baba God. I go begin my reading from verse 12. Na through one man sin enter dis world, and death come through sin. So we must die because everybody don sin. Sin dey the world before the law come, but if law no dey, we no go fit judge people sin. From Adam come reach Moses time, na death dey rule over dis world. Even though no be everybody disobey God command like Adam. Dis Adam be like Christ wey come later, but two of them no be the same, because God free gifts no be like Adam sin. Na true say many people die because of one man sin, but God grace dey well and im dey give free gift to people through im pikin Jesus Christ. God gift and one man sin no be the same. Judgment follow the one man sin, come condemn everybody, but na God gift dey free us even though we be sinners. But if na because of one man sin death kill everybody, then those wey don get favour and Christ gift dey good for God eye, and dem go enjoy life through Jesus Christ. God go punish everybody because of Adam sin, But because of the good things wey Jesus do, God don accept and give us the gift wey dey give life. Because Adam no obey God, many people begin sin. But since Jesus obey God, many people go obey God too. The law come so that sin go increase. But where sin get power, God grace strong pass am. And as sin dey control us through death, na so God grace dey rule through righteousness, wey dey bring life wey no dey end because of Jesus Christ, wey be our Baba God.
All right, viewers, there you have it. The message, the Bible reading for the day. Sincerely, it's always enjoyable when you hear the Bible read out in pidgin English. All right, we've actually come to the end of the show today, but I still have my guests in the studio and also my virtual guest, also in person of Somto there. So please, in 10 seconds each, I just need your last word on the show before we call it a wrap. Somto.
Yeah, thank you, Godwin. Thank you for having me. And my last words is we just need to keep trusting God and keeping hope alive, committing our nations to God, and quickly equip ourselves come 2027 with our PVC so we can vote in the right government for the day. Thank you, Godwin.
All right, thank you so much. Venerable.
Yes, I want to thank Sonto because that was where I was going. The issue of PVC, that the people should use the window remaining to get their PVC ready for the next elections. You can change your present location to another location. You can replace your defaced or bad PVC and all that. Make effort. Go to the local government office of INEC in your area and go and do the needful. It's very important that we do this so that no one will disenfranchise us. It's better we vote and wait for the outcome and hope that the right thing be done or will be done than we refuse to vote and just sit down and begin to think that things will change like that. Things don't change like that. People change things.
All right, our viewers, there's no better way to end the show this morning than the word of our father here in the studio who said, things do not just change like that. I tell you, people change things. One of the best way to change things is by you getting the right thing done, knowing when to do it, and the right time is now. So you go get your PVC, do all of the necessary changes while you still have time. I repeat again, the right time is now. Viewers, thank you. Thank you. This is a size of our package on today's show, and I want to thank my wonderful guests in person of very good Joseph Unoya JP, the Director of Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria, and also the Chaplain of the National Assembly, and also my in-house analyst in person of Somto Chukwu Okizo, who have joined us all the way from Usasa Zaria. Somto, thank you so much for being part of the show. And my virtual guest also in person of Honorable Okupa, thank you, who joined us all the way from Delta State. Thank you for making the show a reality. We are glad to have each and every one of you. And to our viewers, thank you for staying tuned. Remember, you can get more of our programs via our various social media platforms and also by staying tuned to this station. So we'll come your way again with other interesting topic, same time, same station on Monday. You have yourselves a great weekend. I am Godwin Ujiri, and bye for now.